Meanwhile, the investigation into City Hall dealings is widening. Officials searched the Brooklyn home of Ingrid Lewis-Martin, the mayor's chief advisor. They go way back. Her phone was seized as well. She was issued a subpoena. Her defense attorney is here with us this morning. You also know Arthur Idell as a former prosecutor. Nice to have you back on Good Day New York.
How are you?
So what happened to Ingrid? She was away in Japan last week, right?
Well, I'm going to back up a little bit. So Ingrid and I know each other for quite some time, and we have an excellent relationship. She's on my radio show every Friday, so we're in constant contact. And last November, when they grabbed the mayor's phones, kind of jokingly, but I guess now seriously, she said, Arthur, you can't represent anybody else. If they ever grab me or my phones or anything, you're my lawyer. So Mayor Adams gets indicted. It leaks out, I believe, Wednesday night into Thursday. And I am so happy for Ingrid because it comes out, the indictment comes out and she's nowhere to be found. And I'm like, that's awesome. And, you know, people around me are like, well, don't you want a client? No, I don't know. I don't need Ingrid as a client. She's a friend. I want her to stay a friend. So then the mayor does the arraignment, and I'm actually in another courtroom, and my phone, I just starts blowing up while I'm talking to a judge, and I can see it's Ingrid calling me, then my office is calling me, I'm getting 911s, and basically Ingrid had a long planned trip to Japan with her friends, and she went on that trip to Japan, and when she returned on Friday, she was greeted by, first, people from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. That is not the office that's charging Eric Adams. And they asked for her telephones, which she handed over to them. And simultaneously, they went to her house where her family was there, and they conducted a search of her house. And while Ingrid's still in the airport, after the Manhattan DA's office leaves, and she's still leaving, the U.S. Attorney's Office that is prosecuting Eric Adams shows up with a subpoena and hands it to her for certain documents and certain paperwork that I don't think she has. It has to do with fundraising, and Ingrid Lewis-Martin was not a fundraiser for Eric Adams, not since he ran for state senator. I don't even know if she was a fundraiser when he ran for Brooklyn Borough President.
But she's been working with him since he's been Brooklyn Borough.
She's known him for 40 years. Her husband and he were in the police academy together. So she is very, very confident that she's got nothing to worry about. I did speak to the U.S. attorney who was to sign that subpoena. They said she is not a target. Ingrid Lewis-Martin is not a target of the investigation.
Well, what do they think that she knows?
I don't know the answer.
I don't know.
I would assume it's got something to do with the mayor, but it's a grand jury subpoena, which means there may be another grand jury. There may be a new grand jury. I mean, I don't know the answer to that question.
Do you know if it's two separate investigations then? If the Manhattan DA took the phones and the federal attorney presented the subpoena?
It would appear to be that they are not coordinated. Everyone asked that question when she was met at the airport. If they were both teams were together, they were not. They were separate. So I think, yes, the logical inference would be that they're two different investigations. But I got to tell you guys, I've done this more times than I can count, and I do not recall a client being as confident as Ingrid Lewis-Martin is that she's done nothing wrong, that this is part of their whole strategy is to weaken everybody around the mayor so that the mayor's as weak as possible. But she's got nothing to worry about.
Let's take a look at the mayor's strategy, or his attorney, Alex Spiro. You know, he held a press conference yesterday, just days after the indictment, saying one charge should be dismissed, which there would still be 4 other charges, even if that happens. But is this as much trying to get the word out for potential jurors as it is to try and say that the mayor is innocent?
I think it's a little bit of everything. Not only do they have a press conference, they filed a motion. And, you know, there's more people on Mayor Adams' team, excellent people, in addition to Alex, who are really working hard on this. They put a motion in saying that this has to be dismissed because a quid pro quo, as we would know it, was like ab scam. Like, you walk in, you give a congressman a buckle of cash, and you ask him to go onto the floor and vote a certain way. This is, when he's borough president, they're giving him upgrades of hotel rooms and flights in anticipation that years later he's going to be in a powerful enough position to help them with a fire marshal's permit. Even people who are not Eric Adams fans says this seems petty at best.
But that's just one of the 5 charges, though.
That's one of the 5 charges. The other ones really have to do with campaign finance stuff. And it's one witness who's under an enormous amount of pressure from the feds, like, you better help us out or you're the one who's in trouble, who's the witness here. So they're going to fight the good fight, and I don't see Eric Adams going anywhere.
How is business being conducted there? Because Eric Adams, when he was arraigned the other day, was told basically he couldn't talk to anybody who was being investigated.
About the case.
So Ingrid Lewis-Martin is his confidant.
And they're absolutely allowed to talk about city business.
And they've been talking.
About city business, 100%. Eric Adams left the arraignment on Friday and went right to a mayoral event that he had scheduled. And he and Ingrid, and I checked that with the prosecutor who served Ingrid with the subpoena. Are they allowed to talk about city business, about running the city? They said absolutely. They just can't talk about the case. And obviously we're all going to abide by that.
Arthur, you got to stop coming here.
Why? I like coming here, Curt.
No, I'm saying there are too many incidents. It's like every time you're here, it's because somebody's in trouble. We got to stop this.
Well, we can talk about other things. You want to talk about Pete Rose,
talk about the Mets.
Talk about the Mets. The Yankees too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Subway Series is possible.
The Towers Walk, which I did with Fox 5 sponsored, which was absolutely phenomenal. Thank you guys for sponsoring that. That was wonderful.
All right. You got to go now, Arthur.
I got to go be a lawyer.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.